finally ended, and Bill musters out of the Navy like thousands of other guys. He and Louise had gotten married early that spring at the Caldwell County Courthouse, where the Blue Ridge Mountains first rise up in western North Carolina. But Bill still has to finish his last couple of months in the service. So off they go to Norfolk, Virginia, until he finally gets out in late May. Now, he hears that he could make a lot more money there than back in Granite Falls, the Carolina mill town that they grew up in. But all these other servicemen were pouring out of the military, and they're competing for jobs too, so that dream is not exactly working out. Well, not at all. As newlyweds, they struggle along as best they can until one day in late September, Bill comes home from the only job he can find, refinishing furniture part-time. And there's Louise, sitting on the bed in her coat and hat, and her bag is packed. "I'm pregnant," she says, "and I'm not going to have my baby out here in Norfolk where I don't know anybody, especially the way things are going now, because they aren't going. It's not that I don't love you, I do. But I'm going to go back to Granite Falls where I can at least be with our people." Well, Bill is shocked. He tries to talk her into staying, but she throws up that hand and says, "My mind's made up, and I already have my bus ticket and $5 in my purse. The rest of the money's over there on the dresser. Now, we've got just enough time to fling your stuff into your Navy duffel and get down to the bus station and buy you a ticket too. So, make up your mind. You coming with me or not?" Well, Bill knows he just has to. They get to the station just in time, and they ride all through the night back to their home place in the hills. They finally get there late in the afternoon the next day, and they find a room. Next morning, Louise nudges Bill awake, hands him a cup of coffee, piping hot, sweet, just exactly the way he likes it, and a hot buttered biscuit. He takes a few sips and a bite, and she says, "Now, about work." Now, Bill has heard that the textile mills had promised men going into the service that they had a guaranteed job when they returned. He just hopes they'll take him, since he didn't come right back after getting out. He wouldn't make much money, but it would sure be better than what they had now. Louise reaches over into her purse, takes out a $50, presses it into his hand, and bends over and looks him in the eye. "Get up, get shaved, and get up to Levi Fox's barber shop and get a haircut. And you go get that job." He laughs and he tries to grab her and kiss her, but she twists away and says, "No, this is what got me in trouble in the first place. No more sugar for you until you get work." And I mean that thing. Louise watches him trudge up the road to town, and he doesn't come back by 10 a.m. And he doesn't come back by lunchtime. And he doesn't come back by mid-afternoon, so her worry is getting worse as every hour ticks by. But finally, late in the day, Louise hears him whistle from up the road, and she runs out to hug him. But Bill said, no, you can't until you kiss me, because I got that job, and I worked all day. Now the months pass, and somehow they manage to rent a little mill house, and between the cost of that and the groceries and the light bill and the gas bill, there's almost nothing left from Bill's pay. But things still feel hopeful, despite the early winter gray and the cold that's setting in about now. See, it's Christmas Eve. Christmas Day is on a Thursday this year, so Bill will get an extra paid day off for the Friday after. Won't see that money, though, until the end of the month, which leaves very little for presents. But he's getting a Christmas bonus today, so that should work out fine. Well, it's almost time for him to be home, and Louise gets the Maxwell House coffee he loves ready in the percolator. She's checked the kitchen cabinets already, and it looks like she has almost everything she needs to make him his favorite cake, too. Suddenly, the front door slams hard. Louise walks in the living room, drying her hands on a dish towel, and she sees Bill fling himself on the couch, his hand over his eyes, bursting into tears. She kneels down beside him. I didn't get one, he sobs. Lord, honey, what? What didn't you get? I didn't get the bonus. Everybody else did but me. I started back to work 3 days too late to qualify, but I thought they'd overlook that. And he starts crying again. Finally, Bill sits up and he pulls out his old wallet and he digs out 2 wrinkled dollars tucked away deep inside, and he hands them to her. This is everything we've got right now. Every last dime. Do whatever you can with that for Christmas. I'm sorry. And he starts crying again. Well, Louise takes the money, she checks the clock. There's just enough time to get uptown before the stores close. But she's got to run. She pours him a cup of coffee, adds 3 sugars, grabs her pocketbook, and rushes out the door. And up the road she goes. She tears into the Winn-Dixie, all out of breath, and grabs a small bag of flour and 1 of sugar, and oh, lo and behold, there is still a bag of shredded coconut. She grabs that. She rushes up to the register with those 2 precious dollar bills, grabs her change at the groceries, and flies back down the road. Christmas morning, Bill sleeps in, but Louise is up rattling the pots and pans in the kitchen. And about 9 o'clock, she slips into the bedroom with fresh coffee and a coconut cake, his favorite. And they sit on the bed, eating that cake, drinking that coffee, and laughing as he rubs and pats her pregnant belly. That young man, Bill, was my daddy. And that young woman, Louise, was my mom. And that was their first Christmas. And that baby she was carrying in her belly was me. So I guess you could say that was our first Christmas. Now, Bill and Louise made good with whatever they had, always. And every year, Mama Louise always made that coconut cake. And my entire family felt the love that she put in that